This is Shelley Craft. We are coming to you live on SNN Live. We're at the Cambridge House Resource Conference 2012 in beautiful downtown Vancouver. I'm here with Michael Hudson of Mawson Resources Limited, symbols MAW on the TO and MWSNF in the US. Welcome to SNN Live.
Thank you, Shelley, for having me once again.
Welcome back. So, update time. What's going on over at Mawson?
Quite a lot, actually, Shelley. We've got 3 points I'm going to tell you about today. 3 points. The first is that the Rompus discovery that we have in Finland, a gold discovery, it's one of the most exciting gold discoveries in the world. And I know you probably get a lot of people coming past and saying that, but I urge your listeners to go and have a look. We've got 6 kilometre strike, hundreds of high-grade samples, channel samples at surface over up to 350 metre width. It's out there in terms of grade. We're getting percentage numbers of gold. You won't hear that. We're averaging hundreds of grams over 1.5 meters in individual structures, up to 5.5 meters thickness to the maximum. And it's also got a huge uranium credit. It averages 0.5% uranium, and we're getting up to 40% uranium. So these sort of grades, the number of discoveries and the scale of this system is quite unique. It could be one of the world's greater discoveries. It could be nothing, of course, and it's an exploration property. But at this early stage of exploration, we're only in our second year. It's unique.
Well, you have drill results, right?
Well, actually, no, we don't. We're very slow to permit to get to drilling in Finland. We're no different than anybody else, but we're getting very close. We had the permits granted in October. We're going through a standard process.
So you have found all of this without drill results? What is it, near surface?
That's all on surface. There's hard rock at surface. Yeah. So, of course, that's fortuitous. It wouldn't have been... Well, it wasn't found. You know, we were talking about a virgin discovery in quite a mature terrain, so that gives you faith that things can still be found, right? So that's a fantastic discovery. In terms of shareholder approval, I suppose, we've got one of the larger resource funds, the Sentient Group, $1.6 billion in only 28 companies over the last 10 years. They've got a 10-year hold or 10-year closed fund, so they're in for 7 years. They now own 20% of the company, bought on market over the last 4 or 5 months, 10%. Pine Tree owns 10%. Areva, the largest nuclear company in the world, owns 10%, and Insiders 10%. So we've got 50% of that stock really tightly held also. The second point, shall we move on?
There's more?
There is more. The Rompus discovery is overwhelming for a junior, and so whenever I went around telling the story, everybody listened greatly. And then we had some other projects.
Well, first of all, you're in Finland. So you first now have to overcome the fact that it's Finland, to boot. You know, it's not Vancouver, it's not Toronto, it's not Nevada, it's not a belt that everybody's heard of. You know what I mean?
Sure. No, and that's very true. I've been in that part of the world for the last 10 years.
It's not the Carlin trend,
No, it's not. But listen carefully. I had the first 3 or 4 years from 10 years ago explaining that Sweden and Finland weren't ABBA, weren't the Swedish Chef, and those sort of things. But what we're talking about here in Finland is one of the world's global hotspots. Anglo-American's largest copper-nickel discovery in the world today, that they're putting more drilling into and out of the project globally. One of the world's major mining companies is just next door to us, literally. We've got another discovery being Rompus, of course, which is putting that part of the world on the map. Riddarhyttan, it used to be called, or the Kittilä deposit, has just been put into production by Agnico Eagle. That's a 6 million ounce deposit, so up there with some of the biggest. So all within 100 kilometres. Cameco have just come and taken 80,000 hectares next to us. So it's really, you don't hear these things, but it's one of those unique situations.
Well, Finland's kind of a very civilized, quiet country, with Sweden and Scandinavia, Norway, Denmark. What do you think of that? The most industrialized part of it, people think of probably is Saab, right? And now, because they manufacture jets and cars and stuff like that. But we are hearing more and more about Scandinavia. And it's funny, we're hearing about it in Canada and the US, which is even more unusual. So that's fantastic what's going on.
Yeah, it's really only the last 10 years that these places have opened up. 92, the Mining Act's changed. The 90s were a terrible time for mining and exploration. So we've been in there for the last 10 years, which is really the first sort of first world exploration effort, if you like. Prior to that, it was governmental and a very different philosophy.
So you paid your krona.
We paid our krona. We're not finished yet.
So now, what is your background? I think people would be interested.
I'm a geologist, 20 plus years experience worldwide.
So, okay, good. So let me ask you this question. When you're walking this property and you come upon walking Rompus, what you found, because obviously this is you and your team finding it, what was the remarkable sensation that ran through your brain?
It's what we're all about, Shelley. It really is. I mean, we don't come across these discoveries. Oh, in fact, many geologists don't come across a discovery in their life. So it took us a year to do the deal with Areva. We bought this from Areva. We knew what was on the ground, and we were wetting ourselves literally as geologists. And anyone who comes across those sort of gold numbers at surface, I've seen very respected professionals in this industry almost come to blabbering, because it is very exciting.
I know I've walked properties and I've pleasure, walked it, seen, I know how exciting it is. Obviously, I wish I could have discovered it myself. But what is the website to send people to find out more information? And by the way, I think this is something that investors would monitor.
Sure, without a doubt. This has got years to develop. It's www.mawsonresources.com. Before you go, you've got to know the other 2 points in 10 seconds. What we've got is a spin out of our other commodities. So we've been in the uranium sector in Europe for the last 5 years. We've sold our properties to Tornigan Resources, who have a feasibility stage uranium project. Areva have come to the table. We've taken 20%. Areva have taken 10%. That will be the go-to uranium company in the backyard of the highest per capita users of uranium in the world. Mawson shareholders will get in-specie shares in April, and also we had properties in Peru. We're spinning those out into a separate listed company that will come on after the shareholder vote. March 30 is the shareholder vote, and shareholders will get for every 3 shares there, they'll get 1 share of this TSX listed company. So it's a 3-for-1.
You guys are having some fun over there, aren't you?
Without a doubt, and this allows us to focus on Rompus, which is the key discovery.
Congratulations on the news. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Shelley.